Hey, Dr. Bob Flower here with your Master Pattern Report for Friday, February 20th. I apologize for this long absence from our show. We've had a lot of things going on under a great deal of pressure to get them done, which I'm going to share some with you right now. I think the important thing to discuss right now is the markets. As we had stated in our last transmission, uh, these markets are choppy and going to continue this way, perhaps a little bit more violently at different times, such as the end of March, the end of April, beginning of May, and September and October are going to be our key, very choppy and violent moves up and down. Well, you more than likely will see something like last year in that, um, regardless of these moves, the market will probably end up a good deal higher than it was last year. But the action is going to be more volatile in the interim. So if you're sort of a short-term trader, watch out because like for instance right now what's going on, you're seeing a good move up in the S&P and the Nasdaq and whatnot, but the volume is very light, very weak. So what very well may happen here is it's leaving a vacuum. You get a drop, it's going to be precipitous and it's going to drop significantly. Okay, so I've got some more immediate dates for you. The S&P we're looking at next Wednesday, a good move. Next Wednesday, the 4th. I'm sorry, not this coming Wednesday, the following Wednesday, March 4th. We're looking at silver too, and gold, of course. We had mentioned last time that we were not as bullish. In fact, we were kind of passive about the metals. They made a little move, but they retraced, and they will continue to retrace. I'm afraid we may see gold significantly lower, and silver as well. Silver is around that $15.56 level. If it breaks, the 15.30 level, watch out. It's headed for $14, maybe even 13.86, 87. I think was the number. So be careful of the metals right now. This is not a good time. The dollar is roaring. As you see, the euro is collapsing like crazy. All these other currencies are collapsing like crazy, except for the dollar. And of course, the price of oil has a lot to do with that. You will not see oil recovering till the latter part of this year. And it's questionable as to how much of a recovery it's going to make then. What you will see, energy-wise, before the end of this year is a good move into hydrogen. There are companies on the move to establish hydrogen energy stations in major cities. Um, you're going to start seeing them emanate very soon. That'll be another key signal that oil is in big trouble, as we've already seen. Insofar as the politics of the economics, I think we will see an easing here of some restrictions. Um, Not enough, but we will see some as we start moving towards the 2016 elections. The confidence in the economy and in the government and regulations is building because we're moving closer to a major change. And admittedly, from all camps, whether it's Hillary or Walker or whoever, it's going to be much better for the country than where we are at right now. Very disappointing, very disappointing in the way the government has been responding, the administration, using natural intelligence assessments. It's very obvious to us in our organization, the Gilchrist Institute, that there's been a major failure and weakness in many different areas. As we've said right along from day one, the problem that's going to most affect this country is the breakdown in law and order. And you're seeing that right now, the way the president has been denying Congress and the Constitution, violating his own concepts about the Constitution, his own concepts. And even Congress has moved towards trying to change things that they have no power to. So the government is breaking down, governments are breaking down, societies are breaking down, and one of the biggest problems that we're having is a lot of our immigrants, legal and illegal, are not assimilating into the American culture. What they're trying to do is totally isolate themselves by implementing their own culture and abiding by that. I mean, you've even seen some movements in Sharia law in this country. Ain't gonna happen, folks. Not without a gunfight. So things like this are causing wear and tear on law and order, and it's going to continue. The disregard for police and police protection, it's generating a second-class citizenry that this country has never known before. This country has always been this manifest destiny type of spirit of success, the spirit of adventure and entrepreneurship, but we don't have that anymore. Or it exists, but not to the level that it was, simply because the powers to be, the leaders, are not abiding by it. They're simply attempting to make people more reliant on government services and government. And let me just tell you, logically speaking, again, using natural intelligence, people are slaves. People who are living off of the government are slaves. That's all they are, because they're dependent on whatever the government has for them. And look at the rights that they're taking away from owners, successful people, and they're saying, well, we're going to give it to, yeah, but you know what? Who's going to support this system? After a while, you're getting a lot of expatriation in this country. You're getting a lot of people that are dropping out of the system and going underground, and that's a fact. So it's just going to be a matter of time before the system breaks under its own weight. And then, of course, you have the other economic factor that looms large, and that's the interest rates. So the interest rates, if they start up, which everybody's in the Federal Reserve and the Treasury is saying, yeah, we're gonna start seeing them rise. How do you handle $18 trillion in debt? Well, the only way you're going to handle that is if you pay it down before you start paying it off. And everybody's waiting for the economy to catch fire, so as to build our way out of it, make enough money, taxation and whatnot, so that this will happen. But the IRS is confiscating people's accounts, innocent people's accounts. This is akin to what was going on over in Europe and Asia, in Greece and in the Far East. Bank accounts are being just absconded by government because they need the money. Right? And you're starting to see that here. That's happening now with the IRS. So these are all issues that are coming to the forefront. Uh, will the United States economy collapse and fail? It's doubtful that it will. The problem is, how far is it going to fall before it levels out and starts to recover? And then, what is that recovery going to look like? Now, I'm telling you that those who are eminently successful, those of you who are corporate leaders and executives and larger businesses, had got to consider plans to make it more readily comfortable for those who do not have the capabilities, the resources to be wealthier. But I'm not talking about giving them anything except for help in the sense of education and apprentice positions where they're going to learn. Those of those that want to do that. We don't have to go after the ones who don't want it, because that's just a waste of time and money. People who don't want it, who want to be guided and led and supported by the government, are doomed to failure. Those are the slaves, because you're literally at the mercy of whatever your masters tell you. So if you want to be mediocre, if you want to be unaccomplished, if you want to be powerless, out of control, and absolutely absent of any self-substance, then continue along those lines. I mean, that's your path. That's, I'm not here to change that. I'm just here to inform people what is the right direction, right? And our natural intelligence is accomplishing that more and more, become more and more known and accepted. And in fact, I want to tell you about something very exciting that just occurred. A colleague of mine, a master educator, and I just put through a textbook called Natural Thinking and Intelligence Workbook. This is a workbook for students, high school students, and early college students. That's going to help them learn how to deal with their own thinking issues and their cultures and their blocks. And it's a step-by-step, it's about a 90-page text that we have preliminary out in the educational system, and we're getting great reviews. We brought this to a few colleges. We're waiting to hear back that are very interested. We've also provided copies to several state officials who feel that it's a very promising, very unique way of teaching kids, and the way they learn is enhanced dramatically. It's not that singular, linear, memorization testing vehicle that's so common. It's totally different, and something that is very practical. Okay, so we're very excited about this. Also very excited about a personal book concerning my life and my life in real estate and finance, and what I've gone through, the hardships and how I've managed to overcome them, to achieve success. And it's called The Spirit of Success. And my agent and my editor are helping me redesign the book into a self-help business book, as well as a sort of a biography about how I achieved what principles I used, which happen to be the same principles of natural intelligence, and how I ended up discovering natural intelligence. So that's going to be, we should be finished with that in the next 2 to 3 months. And we'll see how soon that thing is going to be published, and it will be published. It's going to be significant. The other thing that I have to tell you is that we have completed a 13-part video series, uh, short short segments. Segments are anywhere from 8 to 12 or 13 minutes each, that will be available on our Gilchrist Institute. Dr. Bob, um, where are we going to be with that, Phil?
Gilchristforum.com.
Gilchristforum.com. That our next transmission to you will let you know where and how to get to that, but that should be within a week or 10 days, and very interesting. You're going to be very surprised at how the beginnings of this whole thing started, and some of the very exciting, adventurous, and mystical things that happened in my life to bring myself and a lot of my colleagues to this wonderful discovery of the spirit and the intelligence that's contained within the spirit, and the whole structure of spirit and potential. Okay, so again, I apologize. We will not be waiting this long to have more sessions, because I think that they're important. A lot of people have contacted me about what happened, if you dropped out or whatever, and it's just been one thing after another. I do have something else I want to finish with you as, just so you know that how busy we are in a different variety of avenues. I am awaiting a patent on a discovery, invention, which is a closet apparatus. Put it into your closet, and you can double the capacity of your closet. And I'm just simply waiting on that. We're ready to go with that, and a lot of people are everybody needs closet space, and everybody's asking, when is it coming? So that we should have, our patent attorney tells us, within the next 2 weeks or so, and we'll be ready to market that. Be willing to offer you a great deal on it. This is just wonderful, especially if you have college kids, or you are a college kid. Great, this is great. It's going to double your capacity. But in any event, keep your eyes on this market. It is choppy. I think we're going to see an up move this coming week. We are headed for newer highs, but we are headed for some rather dramatic downfalls here. So keep your eyes open. Have a great weekend. Stay warm. I'll talk to you next week.